.308. 30-06 bolt action. May have used a Mauser 30-06 rifle, according to reports. Gun now primarily used for hunting, has a long history. And so what's the argument then? What's the argument? Because you're stating it's not, and you're saying there's no way that it would have just stopped at the neck. They claim, because obviously I'm not the mortician, that it was lodged into his vertebra or his spine. There was no exit wound, according to reports, which obviously, like I said, there's reports and there's evidence, but you'd have to actually examine the body to know. And I think that can be said for anybody. Other people pull you up to talk.
No.
I don't do the boxes thing, but I understand. But the thing is, in regards to all of it, everything's gone off of speculation right now. Nobody actually has the proof, except for the FBI. The FBI has it. Am I going to believe that? Because it's just this constant smear, like Erica Kirk. They're like, oh, Erica Kirk is embezzling money or something like that. That was thrown out there with these claims, but no evidence. I haven't seen a single thing on that in the news. They're saying that it's the Mossad. There's also a video of whatchamacallit,
Epstein.
What? Epstein? No. Shit. What was I saying? That they were saying it's like a Mossad hit because he didn't take the money. No, an Egyptian plane followed her 78 times. Facts. Okay, so let's have a look. Educated discussion. I'm willing to have an educated discussion. Everyone with common sense is against Israel. So are you calling for the death of Jews? Is that what you're saying? Do you know that a hit was put on Candace and Xavier 24? Yes, I know about that. Yes. I haven't seen anything else besides that. I'm not going to say it's not happening. I'm not going to say it's not real. You'll really know if it's real if something actually happens. But then again, here's my biggest problem with a lot of this stuff. Did you hear about Natalie Green? Do you know who Natalie Green is? No, I know, Misty. I was responding to somebody else. Do you know who Natalie Green is? That just honestly pissed me off when I saw it. No? Okay. These are things of why I can't trust what everybody's saying in regards to these things. Here, let me just show you something real quick. This just happened. And this was somebody that was underneath, I think, a lawyer in the Republican Party. She was an aide. And this is why I say, like, because whenever I'll talk to people about this stuff, and I'll say, look, people lie, especially whenever when the Me Too movement. Not saying that these certain women didn't experience this, or even men didn't experience what they experienced, but it's also to the point that some people just say this shit to try to spur something. And this is a perfect example, okay? Not discrediting Candace Owens. I don't know if she is. I can't say she is, and I can't say she isn't experiencing that right now. I mean, hell, I get death threats, right? So here's this.
Attack. Now, the FBI says it was all just an elaborate hoax. Stephen Fabian has the details, and we want to warn you, these images are intense.
They are horrific images. A woman's body is covered with slashes, red with blood. The glamorous woman told cops she was attacked by 3 men who hate President Trump. Written on her stomach with what looks like a Sharpie, the terrible words, "Trump whore." On her back, Van Drew is racist. The woman worked for Congressman Jeff Van Drew, a Republican from New Jersey. She's been identified as 26-year-old Natalie Green. She's also a student at Rutgers Law School. Authorities say they received a 911 call from Green and another woman saying she'd been attacked here at the Egg Harbor Nature Reserve in New Jersey. Now, Green told the 911 operator that 3 men approached them around 10 p.m., carved the slashes into her body with a scalpel, and then left her restrained with zip ties. This is an image from body cam footage after officers arrived on the scene. Green's arms are tied behind her back and her feet also zip tied. Now, a shocking twist. Police say it was all a hoax. Her story began to unravel after questioning by the FBI. Authorities say Green paid a body artist $500 to cut her body with a scalpel. Court papers say she drew this image and told him exactly what she wanted him to do. Now she's charged with making false statements to federal law enforcement.
The Congressman Natalie Green worked for sent us a message saying he hopes she's getting the help she needs.
So when I see something like that, mind you, this was just a day ago. This was a day ago. She claimed that it was some politically motivated attack on her, but it was her own setup. They even found in her search history where to find zip ties near me. So when I see these kinds of things, it kind of makes you question whether or not some of this stuff is accurate. So of course, when it comes down to the Charlie Kirk thing, until I see full, undeniable proof and evidence, then I'll be able to make my own evaluation. But in regards to like Candace Owens, like I said, I'm not saying it's not happening to her. I'm not saying any of that. But the same thing happened with Katie Johnson with Donald Trump. That was her pseudonym name. And she came after Trump, and Epstein said all these terrible things that they did to her. And then she said that she received threats, never showed any. She's like, I received these threats, but I'm not going to show you the proof of the threats. They never got it, and then they dismissed the case. So whenever I see like everything that's Candace has been talking about and like really trying to take down TPUSA at this point, I think until the facts are out, we should just be quiet about it. Sadly. So I'm naive for thinking that. Why am I naive for thinking that? We just saw somebody who had her body mutilated and threw it as she was being harassed and politically attacked, and it was her own. If I'm naive for that, to think that, hey, is it so crazy to think that some of this can be spurred up? Is that so outlandish? Because I think if you think that it's outlandish, I firmly believe that people can be very evil, and we don't know what their intentions are because we're not in here. So I try to be very careful about it. I look for patterns, and I look for I do pattern recognition. That is what I do. And lately, as far as everything that's been playing out this year, I've been predicting everything that's been going on. In fact, I want to say I've at least had a 95% accuracy on everything that's been happening. And sure enough, I will probably be right about the rest of it too. But in regards to Charlie Kirk, I can't speak too much on it. The fact, of course, that the lapel mic thing, that was silly. Whoever's like, it was the lapel mic. Why did they go in and start, like, Candace Owens even was saying this. She was like, why was that guy grabbing the camera and taking the SD card? There's more nefarious things going on here. And that same camera guy went on record to say, he's like, the first thing that he thought in his mind is people are evil and they could go for that camera. So I wanted to protect the footage and give it to the FBI. And that's exactly what he did. And people attacked him for that. The guy has been one of the camera guys for Charlie Kirk for, what, 10 years? That's why I don't feed into that stuff. I really don't. I don't know the full length of Candace Owens was wrong. Wait, what was wrong? You hear about the fake call the Dems released stating it's Trump, but it's clearly AI. Oh, no, I haven't. I haven't heard of that one, but it doesn't shock me at all. It doesn't shock me at all. Anyways, I was trying to show like Sahar TV and we got onto this topic. Anyways, this guy here goes pretty well into a lot of the Palestinian stuff. But TPUSA has been caught in lies. Have they? All right, never mind with Sahar. Let's take a quick look. TPUSA lies. Let's just look. So Candace Owens takes aim at TPUSA, accuse them of lies. So there's accuses, right? Accuses, that's accusations. That's not truth. That's accusations. Let's see. The Times of India, I do not trust that news source whatsoever. Why is it not like major headlining news? The Hill. Let's take a look at The Hill. Another one I don't trust. Let's take a look. November 18th, Candace Owens is back in the news after suggesting on her podcast that Turning Point USA is spreading lies about Charlie Kirk and that Egyptian planes were tracking him and his wife, Erica. So, that's it? Okay. Cool. So, once again, you have to be on the rule of caution when this word is brought up. Accuses. They said there were no drones, but Charlie Kirk was sent video in the truck via drone showing thousands of people at the event. At UVU, they actually came out and said that they were not allowed to have drones out, and there was no drones around. In fact, I believe that was the statement made by the security team. In fact, let's go to that. Charlie Kirk, security team breaks silence. Here we go. You know what? I like.
Charlie Kirk's head of security finally speaks out and debunks all of the myths that you've been hearing. Some of y'all should be ashamed of yourself.
Do you have anybody on your team that you think could be tied to an extreme political party who is planning assassinations? No.
I ain't never been. Charlie is catching on fire. He's rolling his grave so hard. Put this together. Everybody that loved Charlie and he loved is lying about him. Everybody. Like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to get notifications. Anytime I go live, make a video, make sure you still subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment on the video, share this video. Let's get into this. Then let's get to Sharon Ryan real quick. Now, this is where people should lose their platforms. I'm telling you guys, I've warned you 100,000 times. These people are lying to you. They are lying to you for clicks. They're either, I think some of them are mentally ill. Some of them are just flat out lying to you because they got the grift down. They know how, they got the algorithm down. They know if they tell you.
I saw the text messages directly from his phone. He showed it on his phone about the exchange between him and the UVU deputy chief. And he said that they were supposed to have some coverage on that rooftop access because it was student access to the rooftop. And nothing happened. once again, Misty, these are accusations, and of course he's paid. He gets paid on YouTube. Of course he's getting paid for making his content. However, he's also a good friend was a good friend of Charlie Kirk as well.
Look, I got this information. Now I'm not gonna give you the information. I'm just gonna get you to the next time I tell you I got the information. Now I'm telling you, let me tell you this. Let me tell you this, sister, brother, listen to me clearly. If I knew something about Charlie Kirk's investigation that'll bust it wide open, I'm gonna tell you today. And I know my show may be, I don't know, what we do, an hour show. If I knew something that was against my friend that I think you need to know, we'll do a 4-hour show. We want a 4-5 hour. Let's run it all night. We're gonna do the show through the night. Stay up.
I'm looking that up.
I'm pushing receipts all night. You will never catch me saying, oh, we're at an hour. Oh, sorry. I guess you can't know until next time I do an hour. Next month, I'm going to tell you what I really want to tell you. I ain't never been. Charlie is catching on fire. He's rolling his...
Okay, so in regards to that claim, there's no credible, well-documented evidence that Officer Tatum outright lied to anybody. Sean Ryan specifically. According to a transcript of Officer Tatum on the Trigonometry podcast, he was on Sean Ryan's show talking about how his dad was in the CIA, so he lied. He told a lie in front of the world. This quote suggests someone on the podcast accused Tatum of falsely claiming his father was CIA, but that's secondhand. It's someone reporting that Tatum lied. There is a Sean Ryan show episode titled Brandon Tatum Lies for Money. The title itself is an accusation, but the existence of a title episode doesn't by itself prove that Tatum definitely lied. PolitiFact has a page for... Oh, shit. Thank you, Ann. Hell yeah. Let's go. What is that? The Fest Cheers? Hell yeah. Let's see. PolitiFact has a page for Brandon Tatum which contains fact checks of various claims he's made. That this doesn't necessarily confirm the specific CIA dad claim, but it does show there are broader discussions about verifying Tatum's statements. There's no independent, publicly available proof confirming that Tatum's father was in the CIA or definitively disproving the claim. The main he lied claim seems to come from a podcast guest, not from a formal retraction or lie detector stating style debunking. So if the lie was that his father was CIA, nobody is going to be able to prove or disprove that. If he was CIA, right? Pretty sure you don't just outright say, hey, I'm CIA. It's just... Once again, it comes down to, do you have facts or do you have a speculation? People don't like that, but it's truth. And I am in line with truth. And as somebody who enjoys Charlie Kirk, I think I need to be as consistent with that as possible. So, I have never seen this video. I would like to see what else is being said. But I can't be on the line of just accusing and jumping on the train of everything is just super flipped upside down like a Jason Bourne movie. It's sometimes it's just not that deep. Sometimes it really is just a disgruntled individual who wants to take somebody out.
Brave so hard. Put this together. Everybody that loved Charlie and he loved is lying about him. Everybody. You to put your thinking cap on. Everybody. All right, let's get to this clip real quick because I got some. Matter of fact, before we start this, can I prove something to you guys real quick? I'm gonna need my computer. I want to prove something to you guys. Everybody that you've seen, Valhalla or whatever his name is, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time ever, Synergy is having a head off, and he'll do all this. I want you to take two things in consideration. One is that it's fair to put that in perspective. But the second thing is that why have you not heard of any of them talking about Martin Luther King? Let me find my little clip. We'll put the link in the description section for all of y'all. Let me find the clip real quick. I got it. I got it. Martin Luther King was shot with a 30-06. No exit wound. I'll put the clip in for you. This is the evidence. James Earl Ray, he purchased the rifle. Let's go down to the text here. You can see my cursor. Dr. King was killed by a Remington Peters soft point, metal jacketed bullet fired from a high velocity 30-06 rifle. He was shot from about 200 yards away. And I read this already, but the shot apparently went into his chin or somewhere in his jaw. It like went out, came back in, went out, and went into his neck. And no exit. It's almost identical to what happened to Charlie. Shot with a 30-06 from a distance. Entered, did not exit. Why are your favorite people talking about Charlie and acting like it's so mind-blowing to think that it has never in the history of humanity has it ever happened that somebody got shot with a 30-06 and then blow their head off? Well, it happened to another person who was assassinated, Martin Luther King, one of the biggest, most prominent assassinations to ever exist. And your favorite people won't even bring up Martin Luther King. Why? Because they need you to believe that there's nowhere in the world that Tyler Robinson did this. Okay, come on. Pull it up. Let's pull up. Let's get to the interview. Sean Ryan, y'all been waiting.
So that's an interesting point to bring up about the 30-06 claim, okay, is Martin Luther King got shot with the 30-06, and as he said, it went through the jaw and bounced around. Here's the thing about ballistics. You can be a hunter, you can be an avid shooter, but if you don't understand the science of ballistics and what happens whenever a round enters a body, depending on where it hits, you can get hit in the leg. If it hits you in the bone, it can ricochet within your body and travel in different directions. Now, in the case of what is claimed of Charlie Kirk's, what the mortician had displayed for his autopsy, was that the round went in and it got stopped by his spinal cord. Now, if we're all God-fearing people, anyways, if there's any God-fearing people in this chat, put a 1 in the chat. If we can believe that Jesus rose from the dead 3 days after, then we have to also assume that this is possible. Not saying that Charlie Kirk is Jesus, okay? The point is, things that seem impossible can be possible based off of ballistics. Just happened to two high-profile individuals. Those Tatum is an IS shill. What is an IS? What is that? Am I missing something? Yeah, I don't know what an IS shill is. I don't know what IS means. Sorry. The thing is I think my personal opinion is that I think a lot of this is blown out of proportion. Based off of what I've been able to deduce through my previous YouTube video, go check it out. It's Domino2810 on YouTube. I went over the Discord messages. Of course, it's alleged. It's not that I can actually prove that it's true. It's all just a speculation and opinion. But based off of those, it lined up with everything that's going on. It could just be that, but we won't know. And I'm really frustrated about how that whole case is being handled, honestly.
We need to talk about this. Clip 106, let's start from the top. Shout out to
But
Sean
everybody
Ryan for doing this.
starts off with an introduction here.
Well, okay, to your point, Nick, to your point, if they were successful with the method with MLK, why not reuse it? To that point, what are your chances of actually getting around to lodge into a spine with no exit wound? If it was the same thing with MLK, there's no exit wound. It traveled in, and the round is lodged here somewhere. As much as I love, a one-trick pony, the highly likelihood of that is very low. This is not Mission Impossible. This is not Jason Bourne. This is not, The Matrix, any of these action movies. It's none of that. This is just real life.
Brian Harpo.
Hold on.
A highly
Frame it real quick. The reason I put this introduction in here is because some of y'all are stuck on stupid, smoking the devil's lettuce and sniffing the sauce.
A 22? No. I could not believe a 22 would do that much damage. In fact, if it was a 22, he probably would have survived. You know how small a 22 is. It's like this. Are you telling me that this tiny little thing, and actually the end, and that's just with the casing too. That's with the casing. Casing's like this. The round's about like this. It's like a big ass BB. But it's not. There's the amount of devastation and the impact of that round. I sadly watched that thing over and over to just like kind of understand and comprehend what I just witnessed. And the amount of force of the blood coming out, no, not a 22. I would believe a 30-06 or even a 223. But just because you'll see these videos of like people who are like, we tested a 30-06 on a piece of meat to see what it does, and it like devastates it, right? It's like completely blown to pieces. You're like, oh, there's no way. There's a difference between dead tissue and live tissue, and the strength of the muscles, the tissue, the elasticity, all of that. That all matters. You're more dense as a person alive rather than a piece of meat that's has nothing else. It's the tissue is barely alive to begin with. Those are differences, right?
Y'all think that, like in a vacuum, you think these people that were defending Charlie and supporting Charlie is somebody they found on the street that was a rent-a-cop yesterday.
I understand, but that rifle wasn't a 22 rifle.
Do you think, go look at Turning Point logs. I bet they were spending millions of dollars a year on security. You think these people, okay, listen to his credentials. Roll it.
But everybody starts off with an introduction here. Brian Harpole, a highly decorated law enforcement veteran who served as a police officer in Texas for 14 years. In 2008, you entered the private security world as operations manager for an elite Texas-based security firm where you specialized in executive and personal protection. Now you are a global private security contractor and trainer running your own company, Integrity Security Solutions, across 5 continents.
Also, I want to make.
Thank you so much for watching that video. Please leave a like, share, throw that notification bell on. Also, follow my TikTok, Domino2810. Until the next one, I'll see you there. Bye!